This event is meant to be a little less formal. So when you hear something cool, something you want to cheer for, I want you to scream, I want you to holler, I want you to be raucous, loud, I want you to have fun with it. All right?
We do have the pleasure to introduce a man I've known for about 15 years since I moved to California. He's been a great friend of mine for a long time. He kind of got me involved in the Southern California volleyball world as well. He is an athlete, a coach, an entrepreneur. He's an author. You're going to hear about his book today. He's from Los Angeles. He grew up right here. Went to SAMO. He is the creator and host of Within the Game podcast. He played and coached at UCLA, helping to coach the women's national championship team in 2011. And he is also the founder and co-owner of West Coast Beach, which is a year-round youth beach volleyball club right here in Santa Monica. So let's give a big round of applause for Mr. Aaron.
Thanks for having me here, guys. I really appreciate it. Wow. It's kind of a full circle moment to be here. First shout out Rio, thank you so much for having me. Billy, appreciate it. Some West Coast people. Evan was one of our coaches. Rio's in our program. I just am overwhelmed with gratitude with every chance I get to talk to the next generation or really anyone about my journey. And so thank you guys for having me. So I'd like to start with a little participation. So my sport was beach volleyball. So what I have here is a ball with a whole bunch of different phrases on it. So for anyone who wants to feel brave right now, if you raise your hand, I can throw this ball to you and you can show me what your takeaway is from one word on this ball. And I have a little something for you.
We'll do it.
All right. Tell me your name and you can just look at the ball real quick and shout out something and give me a little takeaway.
Okay, so I'm Livy Harwin, and I'm just looking at this and there's all these really motivational words on it. So one that's standing out to me is growth. And I think growth is, I don't know why it's on the ball quite yet, but I think it's helping me be mindful of my growth as an athlete.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
When I hear committing to being the best version of yourself, to me that means going back to the true self, not the social media version of you, not what you think other people think about you, which most people do, including me. We all do that. But if we can commit to being the best version of your true self now at your age, that's what my goal is for you, and I think that's what the staff's goal is for you here at this school. And I really hope you guys get that. If I could relay a message to you guys today to focus on the process, and I'm sure you guys have heard that before, but to really fall in love with the process, not just focus on it, like the process of being the best version of yourself, the process of committing to finding the inner inspired athlete inside of you, the process of that, and figuring out that process for yourself, right? I can't tell you what your process is. No one can. You have to figure that out for yourself. That's what that means. 1% better every day. Can we do that? When I was at UCLA, as a coach in 2011, we made the playoffs. We had a Coach Sue Enquist come in and talk to the team. And she said, hey, can you guys just focus on getting 1% better every day? And the whole team was like, 1? You just want 1 from us? Yeah, okay, sure, we can do that. We ended up winning the championship that year. But every single day in practice, that's what the commitment was. Everyone was like, we can go for 1. So if you can go for 1 in your life and you can make that a daily thing, can I get 1% better today? I think that can be very powerful. We have emotions, right? We're human beings. We get down, we go up. It's like it's a roller coaster. But if we can stay committed to being on the path of staying inspired, more than winning, more than losing, more than the results, I want to stay inspired. And to me, to carry that further, what that means is to be aligned with my true self. I want to be aligned with my true self so that I can get into that okay, here's what it is. If you can calibrate to who you really are first, before you go take the action, then the action will become inspired action. That's really what the message is. My senior year at UCLA, I was a backup libero, and I was kind of always the number 2 guy at UCLA. Very competitive there. And I got to my senior year, and I went through two surgeries. Has anyone been through surgery here before? A couple people. Yeah, surgery's tough. So this is my second knee surgery, and all my friends, not all, but a lot of my friends around me as a fifth-year senior started to quit, right? So every day, not every day, but like a couple days go by, another friend decides to stop playing. And one day, I looked around, and there were, all my buddies had kind of left, and I was feeling pretty low. I was feeling pretty uninspired, and I went up to Coach and I said, "I'm done, Coach." And he looked at me and he's like, "Okay, thanks for everything, Wex." And I left the team, and the team went on to win the championship that year. Yeah, stinger. And after that, it really hurt, like it stung me, right? I was like, I worked so hard. I stayed after school at Samuel High to run sprints to get faster because I wanted to be this D1 athlete. And when I was the D1 athlete and I got it and I had the UCLA jersey on, I wanted to win a championship. And that's what happened. And I had to live with that. And that got me down for years. My dad is actually here today. And I went home after that and spent a couple years just being low and uninspired and feeling sorry for myself and brooding, right? I was feeling down. Can anyone here relate to feeling uninspired? Yes. I think most of us, right? I share that story with you guys because now, looking back on that, my goal is to help anyone going through that moment of feeling down, feeling sorry for yourself, and feeling uninspired to stick with it. Most times success is right around the corner, and you got to go down this dark valley first, this low valley first, before you get to success. But if you stick with it, it can be right there. So after spending some time on the couch, just feeling sorry for myself after that decision that I made, I got back to training. I was like, you know what? I love sport. There's an inspired athlete in there somewhere. Let me go get it, right? So I went for it. Beach volleyball is my sport. I ended up putting in a lot of hard work, and I qualified for the AVP, which is the Pro Beach Volleyball Tour, in 2008. And that was a really great comeback for me and turnaround. And I got to play against a team that went on to win the Olympic gold medal that year, which was a highlight. But the feeling of yes is the relatable part that I want to share with you guys. So whatever you're going through, and you don't have to have a story like I just shared, but whatever it is, find your yes. Find your yes. And only you know what that is. You can't look, you can look around a little bit. You can look around for inspiration, and I think that you should. I think we all should look around a little bit. But the feeling in yes is inside you, and only you know what that is. And once you find it, go for it. Like, run with that feeling. When one year I got the inspired nudge to go back to UCLA, and I went back to Coach Skates' office, and I was actually kind of scared. And I was like, what am I doing here? I remember sitting in my car. I drove in the parking lot, and I was sitting there. I'm like, what am I doing here? I was embarrassed. I actually had the feeling of shame. And I went into Coach Skates' office. He said, hey, Wexler, what are you doing here? And I said, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And I went into his office, and I sat down, and I started crying. And I just said, hey, I'm here to apologize for walking away from the team. And, he's sitting with the trophy right behind him, and he's looking me in the eyes, and I had tears down my face, and I just said, hey, what I did was very selfish, and I just wanted to come in here and apologize for that. And obviously you didn't need me, but here I am, because I wanted to own that. That was a wrong decision I made. And he looked right at me and he's like, hey, that's very brave of you and courageous for you to come in, and I appreciate it. And so we had a little talk, and when I left the office, I felt so much better, because that was something that was hurting in me for so long. And it's not fair to just leave a team like that, and I wanted to share that, because if you make a mistake, if you do, which you probably will, or you probably have, there's something to apologize, there's something to going back and looking at what you did and mending that. So after I did that, I got a chance to be a volunteer assistant for the 2011 team, and then we won the championship, and it was a beautiful experience, and it's kind of a full circle moment for me. We've been talking about this idea of the inspired athlete as energy inside you. And I do see a few of you on your phones right now, and if you are on your phone and you're looking outward and you're looking on Instagram and you're looking, which we all do, sometimes you can lose your identity because you're always looking outside of you. Again, I'm not saying looking around you is bad. I'm saying, take more time to look inside yourself and really ask yourself that question. Something I do with our committed players at West Coast Beach is in the middle of practice, sometimes I'll bring them to the side and I'll have them journal. And one of the questions I prompt them is, I am, ... And I let them fill that in. In the middle of doing what you're doing, can you identify who you are? In the middle of doing your craft, can you say, I am what? Right? And so I'll just share with you real quick what I came up for me, right? So this is something that I tell myself on a daily basis. I am a being of love and light before I'm an athlete. I am a spiritual person having a human experience before I go take action. I am an expression of love, right? I am a spiritual person, and I feel that those things really help me before I go do stuff, before I take part in the world. And I really implore you guys to do that. Start to do that. I am. There's something called mirror work that I'll share with you guys real quick. And what that means is just look at yourself in the mirror. It's kind of weird at first, but you look right at yourself in the mirror. You start with 10 seconds. I'll be honest, it gets strange when you're just looking at yourself. But after a while, if you can build up, you can get up to about a minute and you're just staring right at yourself, it is extremely powerful. And you can start to ask and answer that question on a daily basis. It may start to change and evolve, but it can be really positive and very, very empowering. My message today, other than stay inspired, is if you can get the idea of inspired living and carry that energy into everything that you do, I think you got it. I think you got it. I think you can take that energy and you can become this, I like to call it a lighthouse. You become a lighthouse. You just radiate positive energy all the time, and you start to attract opportunities, and you start to attract people, and you start to create change, positive change. Anyone, come on, strong voice. Inspiring. So what I mean by strong voice is we're gonna win. Let's go. I got this. That's positive self-talk. On this side, weak voice. What do you think I mean by that? Anyone want to take a shot? Yeah.
It's over.
It's over.
Yes.
How about we're going to lose? How about I'm tired? So, in our minds, stay with me guys, stay with me. In our minds, we have this strong voice and weak voice all the time, right? And it's up to us to manage that. Down here, I'm going to write school. And I'm going to write, on this side, I'm going to write family and any sort of social media. All right, here's the light bulb moment for this whole thing, guys.
Ready.
So, the idea, guys, with this whole strong voice versus weak voice is we have to make peace and stay peaceful at all times. And the peace sign comes because you have to manage your school, and you can fill in other things there too. Your family, your social media, like all this stuff is going on in our minds at all times, right? At all times, we have to manage that. And it gets really exciting in this part right here. When you have weak voice, because it will happen, can you create a mechanism in your mind to immediately transfer that into strong voice? And that mechanism is something that I want us all to have, right? How can we immediately, when we have this moment of weak voice, can we immediately change it to strong voice? An inspired athlete is constantly telling us, get to strong voice, get to strong voice, get to strong voice. So that's something that I hope you can take from this talk today is like, when you're on the court in the moment, when you're on the field, whatever you're doing in your sport, and you have that moment of weak voice, because it will happen, especially when your opponent is doing great, right? And a champion inspired athlete will get to the mechanism of say, that's great, you just scored on me, but here we go, I got this, let's go. Or, man, I'm really tired right now, but I got more in the tank, let's go. Or, I don't feel like doing this anymore, but I committed to the team, let's go. Right? So like, get to that mechanism, train the mechanism in your mind so you can get to that strong voice quick. The true opponent is yourself yesterday. I know it kind of sounds a little cheesy, but it really is true. It really is true, guys. Whoever's on the other side of the net, whoever you're playing against, I wish when I was your age, I actually had more gratitude for my opponent because they allowed me to do what I do. But my true opponent is myself yesterday. We are here to create, everybody. That's a big part of my message, is we are here to create. And my creative expression has been through athletics for most of my life. And you can totally create as an athlete. You can create with the ball in your hand. You can create in a way, like you can perform the skill in a creative way. But there's other ways to create too. And I want to ask the audience, is there any musicians in here? Raise them up so I can really see your hands. Musicians, give it up for the musicians. So, as an inspired athlete, or as inspired athletes, I think it's really important for us to have some sort of creative expression outside of our sport. For me, I play guitar. It's one of the ways that I express myself, and I can feel my inspired athlete kind of come through my guitar work. I think it's really important. So, you know, you can create in any way. It doesn't have to be music. It can be art. It can be writing. It can be making movies. It can be photography. It can be anything. But that creative expression is really, really important, I think. And so I just released my audiobook of the audiobook version of The Inspired Athlete, and I narrated it, but I actually put my own guitar work in the background. And that whole experience for me was it was really just expansive. So I just want to say, we're here to create, remember that. Remember your dreams, everybody. Remember your dreams. Remember your dreams. I think for so many of us, we get lost in what's going on around us, or we get lost in the opinions of others, whether even it's our parents, right? People telling us what to do or what they think we should do. Remember your dreams. Your dream is your dream, and no one else can take that away from you. Your dream is sacred. Whatever it is that is in your dreams, like, cherish it. Hold on to it. Write it down. Remember your dreams. And then allow yourself to go for it and take bold action and pay it forward. And you know, that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm really working on paying the blessings that I've had forward to you guys, to anyone who's listening to this, to anyone who might find an inspiring moment from this talk, is to pay this forward, because whatever success you find in life, pay it forward to someone else, right? That's the highest form of inspiration, is to pay it forward. So guys, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate your time. And that's how you guys can connect with me right there. I'd appreciate checking out my podcast, but I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I appreciate the school. I appreciate Rio and Billy. Thank you.
I'm a little bit at a loss for words because I'm actually feeling pretty inspired myself right now. I just love what we do. I love that we have a room full of athletes in our school. There's 132 high school athletes. I think there's 210 kids in our high school, which is pretty impressive for a small school that doesn't have a lot of its own facilities. I know that Rio and I sit in the office and we philosophize all the time. We're always talking about, like, what is our true selves and how are we going to give that to you, to our athletes of the school, and how are we going to help inspire you to find, like, who you really are. So what Aaron was just saying, like, really resonates for what our program is about and what we want for you going forward. So thank you, Wex.
Woo!
That was awesome. That was awesome. Good job.
I thought the speech was like really empowering and kind of like reinforced what I knew out. You just can't give up. And if you do, you kind of always have that thought in the back of your mind. So just like really reinforcing what Aaron said and just not giving up and just sticking with what you're good at.
I think it was live your dreams, I think. So that was amazing because sometimes we do forget what our dreams are. So it's important to always, remind ourselves of what they are. So, thank you.
My name is Rainer. I just heard him talk, and I'm inspired to keep at all the sports I'm doing. I do about 6, and I'm going to try my hardest in all of them. So I'm about to go to college with a new mindset and succeed.
All right, so what I took from his speech was that when you're trying to stay inspired, it comes down to whatever you're doing. It can be anything, as simple as doing your laundry, washing the dishes. You just want to stay inspired no matter what and make everything as important as it can be. So that's what I took.
All right. Well, I'm just so thankful and grateful for the opportunity to speak at Wildwood Athletics today. It was a great little talk. I think the biggest takeaway was, seeing the next generation of student athletes hear the message of the inspired athlete and see it on their faces where they really got to take it in and just think about it. That was really, really, really special for me. A big thank you to Wildwood Athletics for having me here today. For me, it's a full circle moment to come speak to the next generation of student athletes, and specifically here at Wildwood, there's just so much synergy between the message that I'm bringing forth and the message that they're giving to their student athletes. It just felt very much in tune and aligned, and I really appreciate the opportunity and looking forward to more opportunities as well.